Okay, so I don't know if it's going to be quick or not, but honestly, this is probably going to be the most interesting review video I've ever done because honestly, I do want to talk about this game. And of course, we already know I obviously deeply love this game. This game as well, A plus, so to speak. Go ahead and get that review off the way. But I do want to make a review, sort of also discussion video of you know why on earth about if why on earth did Pokemon Pocket CCG Pocket did so well. My true thoughts about the game, which as you can tell, I'm pretty much liking it. Alongside, kind of being honest about the game and where it can go, because despite it definitely getting an A plus, I mean, and it's not just because of Pokemon, it's actually a pretty good game. Actually, way more better than most other card games I actually have played on technologies wise, especially ironically even Yu-Gi-Oh! Dual Masters. Um, there are at least some issues that needs to be, I think, needs to be addressed, to say the least. And trust me, you probably already see one of them with the thumbnail, but I'll get to it in a bit. So, for those who do not know, the game came out, if I truly recall correctly, the game came out last year. Yeah, it's probably the end of last year. Now I'm remembering it because around that time. I know it came out end of last year, but you could correct me of what date it was. And it was a smash hit for multiple reasons and stuff. Because, hey, Pokemon trading card game, but now on the go with your phone and stuff. And the art looks great, the blah blah blah. It has some more easier battling than the regular TCG. It was already even hitting my marks because if you guys don't know this, and I think I did talk about this before, um, but honestly, to definitely prove the fact that I am super casual, I didn't even truly start off on the games. In fact, the first time I ever started off on Pokemon was truly ironically the card game instead of the video games. Like, it took me a while before my first official game would be Pokemon X and Y, to say the least. Or Platinum, to be honest, because I got Platinum before, but I usually consider Pokemon X and Y to be my first experience because Platinum was like, meh. I mean, I don't mind Garatina, or it's non that creepy pop out, but still. But my experience took way long, but I was into the Pokemon cards as well. Like, I still have a jillion collection of the Pokemon cards. Like, no joke, I'm keeping them to my grave. Probably got to make a freaking will to state to bury me with my goddamn Pokemon cards. That's how much I love them, and I still do to this day. Of course, I no longer mostly collect Pokemon cards, or even some of the other cards that you could collect, like Yu-Gi-Oh, or any other Bakugan, or any other of the cards involving monsters. But Pokemon cards is definitely unique to me, and it's not like the first time too that Nintendo nor Game Freak or the Pokemon Company ever made a video game based off the training card game. In fact, it was their very first game based off the training card game was on the Pokemon Game Boy, and I finally got to try it through the Nintendo Switch Online stuff. Let's just say, thank God, this game is much more easier than that game because oh boy. But anyways, you can tell good and well I was actually kind of excited for. I was a little hesitant, but I was excited for it. And as you may have guessed by now, especially since I think I did admit to this, but I actually had to let go of Alzu Lane because of how big and corrupted it was coming. Um, Pokemon CTG won me over because I did not expect it to be so good. to say the least. Like, for real, I'm still having fun with it, even if I'm getting my butt kicked. Which, to be fair, nowadays, if you've been paying attention to my other channel, Gear Day, you notice I have been improving. Of course, I'm not going to be like these experts out here doing 100 KOs like crazy here, but hey, I'm still having the fun time I have. It could get, and that could be due to the fact of how the game functioned, because surprisingly, ironically similar to that of Azur Lane in some way, even though more better, honestly. Pokemon TCG definitely made it accessible for most people to, do this as well. So how did they make it more accessible? Well, first off and foremost, um, every day you're able to open 2 packs, at least max. And I mean 2 packs for sure because if you don't know, you actually are able to open packs twice per day if you play the waiting game. Which already right off the back is a surprise because usually you expect, a summon or a get a character gotcha thing to be once every day. But no, this is literally twice every day, and it is every day. So that's a good thing for sure. And second, I think it's more easier to get some of the rare cards. Like, I got a lot of rare cards already. But the reason why I say that is it basically gives you challenges to do, and pretty much these are straightforward, easy. So you collect these hourglass for 2 different things. There's the blue ones, blue purplish ones that increase for the pack opening, and then there's the orange ones that do with the wonder pick, which we'll get to that thing in a bit. Um, and honestly, I will say, opening trading card is on paper and execution for most people, which I'll get to that in a bit, is easy. All you have to do is slide your finger, da da da. But yeah, pretty straightforward. You get lucky multiple times, especially if you're doing this a lot. If you get player cards right, no pun intended, you literally can open 10 packs easily if you save up the hourglass or buy pay because pay to win kind of thing. Even though I don't feel like it is, honestly. And of course, one of the reasons why I hold off on doing a review on this is because it took some time for the cards to, truly get into more battle strategy. Because at the very beginning, there was barely anything other than little support cards and items. But now we have like Pokemon cards with insane good abilities. Pretty much um, cards with tools, you know, and all that. Although I will say we haven't got a stadium card yet, which I can't wait to see. And pretty straightforward and easy. The gameplay is not the same as like normal TCG, but it's easy. It's simple, easy. Just cut the prize cards in half. No prize cards though, but points in half. It's the usual stuff. I mean, pretty straightforward. I mean, heck, you can even flip a coin literally on your phone, which is fun. It's smart. But all pretty satisfying stuff. But the best part about making it satisfying is, and this is a debate. This is debatable. I'm not going to lie about it. But honestly, to my opinion, and this is just my opinion alone, even though there are some technical issues, I feel like the game is pretty balanced so far. Like, not every card is overpowered. Like, for example, to give you an idea, this recent season with the Lulala and Solgaleo, whatever they call, they introduced, that bird Pokemon that does dancing. Well, apparently they give the electric type bird the ability to not get hit by EX cards, the big tanks you usually have to get out. And it brings up so much strategy, of course. However, the thing is, it's not that broken if you just do like what most other normal people do and just bring out more stage 2 Pokemon. In fact, it actually helps improves and make it hard to be like, okay, what Pokemon do I need? Do I need a stage 2 normal Pokemon or a EX Pokemon? Or pretty much, any normal Pokemon or EX Pokemon. So it's pretty easy. I mean, I do agree there are some meh. Again, this is why it's divisive. But to my opinion, so far what I've seen, along if you can craft a perfect deck, it's not actually that broken. And even then, the best part about it is you don't actually have to play the battles to get more Pokemon cards. I mean, heck, they even give you just general challenge battles, which is more easier than the online. So if you need a break and if you need to grind to get some pretty good cards, do those. Like they come out every time when there's a new pack. Granted, you are going to have to grind a little bit more. You actually have to be in focus, which I'll talk about in a bit. But for the most part, it's pretty solid. Nothing major. Honestly, I think the award system is also fun and stuff. They don't let you hanging. If you actually do your awards, you get some cool cosmetic stuff. You don't have to buy them. You just have to just earn them through points and stuff. Pretty smart. Um, the the new trade thing is, which wasn't introduced until later on in an update, hence also probably why you probably noticed I kind of delayed this review, honestly. Also pretty solid. I don't know why they had to use points to, give out the trading. I think it's so that way you don't keep trading rare cards or something like that. But pretty solid as well. Though I will say for me that's probably not a good thing to say because I haven't been using that trade system often. You have to have actual online friends to trade that thing, and you have to know them. And the only times I did it was with, ironically, GP Reed's friends, who are also my friends to say the least. So, da da da. But hey, at least I still got some good cards. I mean, they finally got me a Zapdos, which I needed for my deck, so no surprise there. And then there's the Wonder Pick, which, just get more lucky, pick out random cards, shuffle them like a shuffle time in Persona 4, and just pick out a card. The end. Nothing to major. But pretty much straightforward. However, those are mostly the positive. And to be fair, the entire game is full of positives. We can go on and on about it. In fact, the positives outweigh the negative, which is why I'm giving this game like a solid A plus because I think they really are trying to improve it. However, there are a lot of improvements they need to truly do focus on with this game. And the first one is more so, this is more of a personal issue kind of thing, but also probably I'm not the only one who's suffering from this. And it's funny because I actually already have the proof. You're already seeing it through this thumbnail, which I'm actually pretty okay with though because of certain things. But for context, I feel like they do need to be careful of when they do update the games in some ways because several phones, like myself, my own phone I'm using to record all this, yeah, they don't handle the CGI cards very well. And I'm not even joking on that. Like, it will stutter and buffer if it's an old phone. Like, I bet a very new phone or a tablet could do it finely. However, there have been times where I even had to restart my phone so that way I can get through the opening packs, and it does become an annoyance. Like, I can't even slide it. It's just freeze my phone. And I have to literally get into my phone and restart it. That is a bit concerned. Like it's not too annoying to make me stop playing the game, but I really wish they have like a actual button, by the way, a actual button, which actually leads to my next problem, which I'll talk about in a bit. I really wish they have a actual button that says turn off these special effects, literally, because they do have, of course, the whole FPA kind of thing, FP, whatever the fuck you pronounce it, to turn down graphics. But man, it does not work. I tried it. It does not work for my phone. They just need to have an on and off button of that. I don't know if they actually do, But not like it bothers me too, but some of the graphics can still also affect the cards. For example, many people, especially on Facebook, if they actually follow me in that Pokemon CTG Pocket group, which shout out to them because they made my day pretty much funny because I didn't expect to get a top comment on that group through my pictures. They were shocked to see the Lunala you're seeing also on this thumbnail. Yes, even after opening from the pack and even during gameplay, the which is proof through that of my videos on Gear Day, they will still look corrupted all the way, no matter what, if they're going through some animation or something. Not like I mind though, because ironically, it's actually pretty funny, and trust me, even the Facebook group actually loved it. Like they're saying, like it's a rare misprint or a missing gnome card, which I love, which is why I literally love the new Ala. That might be the most funniest thing I ever heard, but it's also funny. But I really wish they do fix that because that does, for me, it doesn't ruin that experience that much. But I bet a lot of people will get ruined by that experience because again, not everybody has a fancy new phone. There are people with old phones like myself. So I mean, just make it accessible. It's easy. Just put in a turn off graphics button. That's what you need to do. And that's like the easy solution compared to the other problems. That being one, while it is accessible, I feel like they still need to explain or have more better showcasing of which things do which. I remember in one of my own Gear Day videos, someone didn't even know how to switch out their decks, which is weird because I even show that in the video in some weird ways. I don't know if they didn't figure that out. And then there's also like for me, I couldn't find the when I got this card thing, which I needed whenever I do those poor crappy open this pack crap, to say the least. Luckily I did figure it out, but it took me forever to find the history button kind of thing. Um and then there's of course the I think there's also the course of like I said the mechanics, but again nothing wrong there. It is game balance and stuff. So in all honesty, it's not a big deal, but I do feel like they need to, moving forward, they need to make sure to fix those things like pronto, because I feel like some updates are needed for that, to say the least. But other than that, and a few minor things that are just nitpicks, honestly, I love this game. Like I said, it's a full-on A+. I highly recommend people. I think it's actually a good tool to get people into the Pokemon card game. Now, of course, clarification, it's not the same as like the trading card game. Trust me, there's a lot more rules to that. But it's an easier way to get in there. I hope they do make like tournaments of this. But anyways, solid A. Hopefully they do fix it. But anyways, this has been Floxcat with a misprinted new Lala card on the video game. Snap it out of here. Bye bye.